dropping this video concerning the volatility 50. So today we are going to be looking at volatility 50 market, and let's analyze it and see what's possible on this particular chart, what we could be looking at doing. Now for volatility 50 index, we can see that we have been on an uptrending view. So if we should connect this high to this point, maybe to this area, we would find out that we've actually been having an uptrending channel. But now, one thing I can add is that we've not had markets tap into any of these zones. If we put our trend line this way, we've not had market tap into any of these zones. But now, let me remove this. The two things we can clearly do is, actually this chart looks like, and it's an uptrend, and at the same time it also looks like a range. The move is really stiff. So on this chart, what can we see? We can clearly see a break of structure to the upside here, and we saw market pushing to downside. Market also created this high, and we can also see this low. So one thing we can clearly see is there's also a low at this point. Now, what we can simply observe now is this was a break of structure to the upside. This was support which created a break of structure to the upside. Now, this is a current low. We'll be marking this low shortly, but I want us to go to the smaller time frame. So let's go down to the 4 hours time frame and see what's currently happening on the 4 hours. That will help us a lot. Okay, very good. So on the 4 hours time frame, we can find out that we had other break of structures, which was this. On the smaller time frame, we had this, which was another break of structure. We also had this. Yeah, and we had this last one, which was taken out. Okay, I would have to just mark all the break of structure. So we had this also. There was a break of structure at this point, market rejecting into the point, the area. We also had this. So now, having understood that market had all these break of structures to the upside, and then we find out that market actually broke it to the downside, also give us a break of structure to the downside before dropping massively. So what can we simply do? We would simply mark this zone it broke. Thereby, that is creating our first low, you get, which we'll be using to tag the move to the downside. So this is our first low to the downside. This is the high. Fine. Now what can we do? We can simply come and we're trying to pick a spotlight. Now if we should connect a trend line from this point, the next place it would match with is this point here. To match with this particular area. Now what are we trying to do? We want to understand what is going on that particular area. Now if we should connect this low, you can see that we are currently playing with a low. There's a downtrend on the smaller time frame. So what's going to happen? I'll just simply remove it. and then we pick this our 2 and then we mark this high. So currently what can we see? We can find out that we have these levels to look at. Now this was the character to the upside. Until it breaks to the upside, until it breaks structure to the upside significantly, we would start taking buys. But for now, until market breaks this area to the upside and retest before we can begin to look for buys. So currently we can find out that market actually has broken to the downside, this making this our first low to the downside, which was taken out, and then this also is our second significant low because it was taken out by this high. So what are we looking out for? We have simply, by this break of structure, understand the market is actually giving us a channel to the downside. So what we are going to simply do is we are basically going to be marking our Fibonacci from here down to this support, and then we'll be looking out for market to get into this area. We're looking out for market to get into this area and also into this area. So these are the two areas we'll be looking out for market to get into and give us a sell. So give us a sell from those areas. So what are we going to be doing? We are basically going to put our short to telling us that if price gets into this area, we'll be looking out for sells, which is taking our short and dragging it down to that point. And then if price also gets into this area, we'll be looking out for shorts from there into this point. Why? Because we've confirmed that the market is actually giving us a downward structure. So we'll be looking out for market to get into this area and drop, which is this, get into this area and give us a drop, or for it to get into this area and give us a drop. So that is it actually. So this is our setup for volatility 10, and this is what our bias is. This is what we are looking out for. So that's it guys. Peace out. One love.